Hello, everybody. We are live. It is this is Sensei Subira and Reverend Latanya Taylor,
Hi,
and
everyone.
we are. She is joining us, believe it or not, from across the waters. But I'm going to let her tell you that herself. So awesome to be here, and we're grateful that you joined us. This is getting ready to be a really exciting time this summer. The first thing I want to tell you, if you guys have any questions, which we do hope you do have some, but as they come up, please go ahead and post those questions on the right there in the fan page where you're watching this broadcast through. And Latanya and I will go back and forth and make sure that we address any and all questions, considerations, or anything else that you want to say to us. Right, Latanya?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So the name of this broadcast is A New Economic Reality. And, we came up with that name because really that is the experience we've been having. Many of you who have followed my journey know about the changes I've gone through physically and emotionally due to the journey with breast cancer. And financially, there was a huge transformation that happened as well. So we want to share with you our journey during this 1 hour time that we have together every Tuesday, 12 Eastern, right here on this channel. So let's get started. I am, as you see here, Sensei Subira Falame, and we are collectively knowing ourselves as the Money Charmers, and you will come to see why very shortly. And I'm joined by my esteemed colleague and friend and sister and coach and reverend and so many things, Latanya Taylor. And we also have another very esteemed sister friend and professional, Sandra Mizell Chaney, Coach Sandra Mizell Chaney. And so I'm going to allow Tonia, if you would please, Latanya, go ahead and introduce yourself,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there.
All righty. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm excited to present to you a new economic reality, particularly for women who have conversations about, and I say conversation meaning an inner conversation, your inner chatter, your self-talk, your inner story, or your outer reality, and we hope to be able to serve you. So as Subira is sharing about her story, many of you may not know my story because I actually haven't talked about it a whole lot. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk to you about today. And it took me a long time to actually step fully into my purpose. I knew what my purpose was, and I had been working on jobs and doing esteemed work, a career that I could have kept in public and private partnerships, program development, and new initiatives for either the government, a nonprofit, and developing those partnerships with corporations. However, I knew for a long time that I had a call on my life, and I had been in Washington, D.C., where contracts is becoming more and more common than, that good government job that everybody wants to have and secure. And I came from a family that is used to you go to school, you get your degree, you then get a good job. And those of you who are my age or younger, you know that your reality is not necessarily secure on a good job unless you're in the sciences or you are really sciences. You're in technology and those nation building type of agriculture, that type of thing that never grows old. But most of us, we go and we do other things just trying to get a degree, but not living in our purpose. And a lot of people that are listening right now, you can relate to that. And so that's a part of my story. My company is Rebirth International, which could be considered many things. It's the umbrella for programs, consultation, and services for basically building visions and also building the lives of women, specifically in the area of femininity. Now, I could say a lot more, but my story is that it was not easy. It did not come easy for me. I did not have a reference point. I resisted for a very long time to get here. And so I hope to be able to serve those who are ready, but not really sure where you would like to go and how to get there. I hope that helps. Is that good,
Awesome.
Severe?
That's
Okay.
excellent, excellent. We do have some viewers that are on, so I want to say hello to you wherever you
Hey,
are,
everybody.
and I want to thank you again for joining us on this show. And I'm just going to piggyback on what LaTonya has shared and just give a little bit more insight into my stories. I know that there are people watching live now, and then I know there are people that'll be watching this broadcast, in days and weeks to come. So I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth whatsoever. My father was in the military, and I actually didn't realize that we were. I'm going to go on a limb here and say we were really poor until we left the base. The military enables you to have this illusion, and we're going to talk a lot about illusions, different illusions that we live under. So from the time I was born, my father joined the military straight out of high school. From the time I was born until the time we left base housing, I had no idea that my parents were actually struggling. Had it not been that the military gave us a roof and things like that. Those things became apparent as we stepped out from under the military's parentage, so to speak. So I have always had an entrepreneurial drive, and I've always had this vision and being led by spirit. And throughout my entire life, I always had a little, what I'm gonna call a side hustle. I had a regular job, but I always had a side hustle. I was always trying to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur. I watched him go to work all day on the Air Force Base, and then at night he had, it was always some direct sales company that he was involved in. He's a musician, so he was doing musical gigs on and off the base. I always saw my father, working. And he always told his three daughters to always have your own business, your own checking account, and get your education. So
Mine too, by the way.
oh yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what roles our fathers played in the development of these female entrepreneurs. Because my dad was very significant, and yours too, it sounds like, LaTonya. So that's going to be interesting conversation piece there. So, all through my 20s, 30s, always had a job. I worked as an airline, I worked in the airlines for nearly 20 years. And while I was there, I just realized this is not what I'm meant to do. I knew that what I was supposed to be doing was supporting people from getting from point A all the way over to point Z. And I interpreted that as, the airline industry. What I'm seeing, as I had time to kind of sit on my own during those years where I couldn't work because of breast cancer, I got to see that through the coaching training that I had, that was essentially doing the same thing. and supporting people to move, as they move spiritually and physically and all that. So my business, Sacred Warrior Yoga, Your Own Guru Awakening, is about supporting women entrepreneurs who are led by spirit to create, to develop their business using creative and cutting edge technologies, both spiritual and social media. And I also, a big component of that is what you do on the inside with your body, with your mind, with your spirit. So Sacred Warrior Yoga is about much more than yoga. If you know anything about yoga, it's much more than just movements. Mm-hmm. So we take that holistic approach to moving, to stretching in your life to those areas that are uncomfortable, but that's how you get the flexibility and the growth to create whatever it is you desire out of your life. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yep. And Sandra will be here to speak to us about her company, and I'm very excited about that next week. And so, LaTonia, I know you wanted to share some other ideas, and I'll be speaking about money in a moment, but I want to give you an opportunity to share.
I hope you can hear me. I didn't hear the last part of that. I'm happy to go right into the money piece. I'm excited to hear you on that.
Okay. All right, great. So one of the things I realized, and I actually realized this way before, I got the breast cancer diagnosis. What I knew was that money that we're given is not really money. And hang on a second, I want to actually show you what I'm talking about, because this is really important. And this is a casual conversation, y'all, so we're just gonna relax through this summer school together. Now, I don't know if most of you have ever actually really taken a moment to look very closely at this, what they tell us is money. If you haven't, I want you to look at the very top of any bill. It is. And you notice that they tell the government, who issues these instruments of debt, they tell you at the top what it is. It's a note. It's a promissory note. It's a promise to pay. So what I came to realize was that I was having a very challenging time getting out of debt, even though I was doing everything that they told me to do. I was working hard. Sometimes literally, when I was in college, I had 3 jobs.
Yep.
Say again?
I'm agreeing. Amen corner over here.
So, when I was in college, I literally had 3 jobs, and at other various times, like I said, I always had a side hustle, and I couldn't figure out why is it I don't have enough money, and I didn't live high on the hog. But as I did my studies, my self-studies, I realized that what we're doing is actually just moving around debt. And they tell us that that's what this is on paper. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if it came to me that, I can't get out of debt, is because I'm dealing with this cash, which is, they call money. And when I say money, and I'm referring to this piece of paper, I'm going to say that in all lowercase. I want you to, in your mind, picture lowercase money, or cash, or note. A lot of different pieces, a lot of different synonyms for piece of paper. Okay? When I realized the reason it was impossible for me to ever, I want you guys to hear me very clearly, women. It is impossible to ever get out of debt if this is what you're circulating.
That's right.
Because it is a debt instrument. Okay? It is not until you begin to siphon off even a small piece of this and begin to convert it. That sounds like alchemy to me, and I love that. We can talk about that too. But when you siphon off a small piece of this and convert it to money, all caps, for that to happen, you've got to create money inside your heart, inside your mind, inside your gut. You've got to line all that up with the reason you came to the planet was to do some work, something, contribute some value. And when I realized that if I could tap into the reason I was born and begin to contribute that reason, that purposeful living to the marketplace in a structured way that made sense, then my own natural energy yield, that blew my mind and changed my life. Because I realized I was out here chasing this, calling it money, when really it's on the inside, and it's about energy. It's about what you were encoded with when you were born, your innate skills and gifts and talents, those energies. When you begin to offer those to the marketplace in an organized fashion, all of a sudden, getting this becomes the easiest thing to do. And there almost is no work. Please.
If you are listening, one of the things that you can do just to make sure that you alchemize everything that Sabir just said is simply write down money, M-O-N-E-Y, and then put a dot behind each letter and hear what you just said. Money, my own natural energy yield. This is something that we both learned from our mentor and our teacher that you love to tune into, Reverend Dr. Young Van Zant. She may be watching, who knows? So I'm sure she would like for us to acknowledge her. But the point is, when you look at that, if you look at every conversation that we have had about money, we are talking about energy. And you cannot compare yourself to anyone else. It is possible to have the promissory note, but still lack a certain type of energetic connection to it. And so you hear from a lot of people so many different ways to get money. And I'll be talking to you about that natural energy yield as a woman. The natural, how do you as a woman alchemize your own natural energy yield to attract, to receive? Because this world has conditioned us to believe that we have to get rich or die trying. No pain, no gain. Work hard. What's that saying? Because some of these things I've kind of wiped off my disc. And so what are some of the other sayings, Sabir, around money that means that you have to go at it hard? And that's really not the truth. Money has also a certain anatomy, if you will. There are people who have been born into money. And this is why wealthy people don't have to talk about what they have. And the families of wealth that run the country in in the world in some cases, they don't have to flaunt their wealth. You could be in the same room with someone that has generational wealth. And some of us don't know what generational wealth is. So we're having to relearn and teach ourselves a different consciousness so that we can connect to the currency. That it, you know, everything is in front of us in the language. And so money is one of the things that it's called is currency. Why is it called currency? The other reason that money is called currency is because before there were promissory notes, there was your word, there was your signature. That is the real wealth. And this is why when we sign off on certain things, we're signing away our consciousness. You're not just signing off as giving consent. We're signing off our consciousness. So we think that we are in debt because we have been attached to a false instrument. So I'll stop right there.
Oh no, that was getting good. That was getting good. Let me just stop there.
Let me stop right there.
Oh boy. So I wanna go over real quick to the fan page and just see if there's any questions. I don't see any at this point.
And I want to, while you're looking,
well, if you guys have any questions, please.
While you're looking, I just want to share transparently that when we were introducing ourselves and before getting here, if you're watching this, you know, talking about money is sometimes a sensitive subject, but we're not just talking about money as you know it. And the biggest way to shift your life is to move in the area of discomfort. For years, I wouldn't take on this subject too much because I felt like I needed to have a whole lot in order to qualify myself. But I've had so much success, so much abundance in so many areas of my life. And I'm developing a new relationship with my money because I'm living in my purpose and because I have a new relationship with my womanhood. That alone qualifies me. And so if you need to hear from people who are balling, then that is another level of superficiality that the consciousness has to do a detox from in the first place. Because our reality is not just attached to things. And, you know, I'm sure Sabira has some experiences to share because you know you've always had a hustle, you've always done these different things, and I've always had a job and had great things, and what happens when life happens?
Right. Well, let's talk about when life happens, because here's one thing I can guarantee you. First of all, can you hear me, LaTonya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the one thing I can guarantee, none of us gets a pass from life happening. Now, the way it's going to look is going to be different. You know, there are some people who are going to watch this show that are going to see the keywords, you know, breast cancer, and, you know, they will have had that similar experience to me. For some people, maybe they lost a spouse, whether that's to, you know, a transition of life, whether that's, you know, through death or through divorce or separation. It could have been that, you know, your child transitioned, or a job. Maybe you walked in and they said, hey, you know, we don't need as many people, and one of those people we're letting go is you. Or maybe inside yourself, you know, it is time for me to transition, and so you step out on your own. Either way it goes, what you is that none of us gets a pass, and all of us is going to face some major life-altering challenge that will transform you at your core.
Yes.
Will knock you, if it hasn't happened yet, I'm letting you know it's going to happen. None of us gets a free pass. None of us gets a free pass, women. And if you are dependent upon your spouse, your significant other, your job, rather than on your own natural energy yield, your vision, your interests, your skills, your talents, there will always be an energy of fear and apprehension and anxiety, even at low levels. And what I can tell you is that those energies repulse the energy of money.
Ooh, repulse.
It actually moves it away. Money, and I'm talking about my own natural energy yield, as well as notes. Money, my own natural energy yield, is an attraction. You know, you heard a lot, especially a few years ago, about the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And the law of attraction, for my understanding, let me put it like that, doesn't mean that this is it for everybody, but the way I understand, and I came to understand the law of attraction, was that as I learned to stand in the truth of who I am, and that shifts from year to year and life experience to life experience. It was breast cancer, as traumatic as that was. It just took my life and pulled, if I was a tree, it pulled me up by the roots and replanted me somewhere else. When that happened, a whole recalibration had to happen inside of me. And it was like, I've lost everything. And you heard that saying, LaTonya, that one of the most dangerous people is a woman that has nothing to fear.
Ooh, that's
right.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. So when you will allow yourself to go to the edge of who you think you are and jump off.
Yes.
When you will allow yourself to go to the edge of who you think you are and jump off into who you really are.
Right.
A recalibration happens. Now, I will guarantee you, when you do that, you're going to lose everything. You're going to lose most things. You're going to start from scratch, because 9 times out of 10, you were living in an energy, you were living in a prototype, in an archetype that was given to you by your parents, by society. They taught you to chase this instead of going within and figuring out, who am I? What is my vision? What do I love? Because those things will support you. They have to. They have to support you. They have to serve you. But we got to stop chasing the illusions and the representatives of the real thing. So again, when life happens, that's actually a really auspicious time. It's auspicious, ladies. It is an opportunity for you to reset, allow everything to be washed away, wiped clean, get a clear slate, and start again. And if you're brave, you'll have the opportunity, or you will step into learning who you really are and embracing that. And that is what we, as the Money Charmers, are going to be here for this summer to support you in doing.
And I want to offer another piece, Spirit, because I remember when my coach would tell me about just jumping for years. It would terrify me. And I don't have a breast cancer testimony, there for the grace of God go I. And but I have a terror story. I was afraid, paralyzed in fear by the idea of not being responsible, having to ask anybody for anything, having to go back home to my family if I failed. um, I wasn't sure whether it was the fear of failure or the fear of success. And
Mm.
oftentimes the fear is minimized because I want to say you don't necessarily have to have an event. You can choose your next most appropriate step. Because
Mhm.
I wanna talk to the entrepreneurs who are going to work angry, crying on the way to work, who are knowing that they should be doing something else. I want to talk to the people who have been spontaneously laid off and your world crumbles, because that's been me. um,
Mhm.
you crumble on the inside when you can't go to all the happy hours because your finances are strapped. I'm a social butterfly, so I understand when that happened. Living in the area where there's always an event, there's always something going on. It forces you to
Mhm.
start having authentic conversation when that happens over and over again. What am I here for? What am I supposed to be doing?
Mhm.
When you find yourself praying the same prayer about money, about something you want, and you know that you're intelligent, it is not your imagination. There sometimes is a blind spot. There is sometimes that you have to step off of the treadmill of what you've been believing about what is supposed to happen and the way it's supposed to happen. Um, I mean, I was around very successful women. They couldn't give me the answers until I did the deep dive to say, okay, I'm going to conquer this thing. But there are some of you who can choose it. There is a magical way to um, to create your life and to co-create your reality. You do not have to go into to be forced. I don't choose that. I had known for a very long time, again, what my purpose was. I was walking in it, but my 9 to 5 was a cushion. Um, I was distracted. Sometimes we are, as women, are distracted by marriage, by children, and trying to have it all at the same time. The good girl, I have a group called Good Girls Gone Goddess, and one of the things women are always confronting is the self-sacrifice, and the living the fairy tale, following a timeline. Because after you get that
Mhm.
good job, then you want to find what? A husband or a lover or whatever the case may be, a partner.
Mhm.
And then you want the white picket fence. Then see, it has to happen in that order. That is the good girl program. And many of us
Mhm.
follow the good girl program in love, in relationships, and in our money. And we follow the good girl program. And when we have followed the rules and have done exactly what we was expected of us, what was told of us, what was modeled, when we were the only ones in the family who may have broke away to do something different, then what happens is when life happens, many women go into severe depression because they blame themselves, they beat themselves up, and there is a shame attached to what you have and what you're able to, or what the image is. And women today are carrying it more and more. And what I want to say to you, I know it may piss some people off, but that is because we are not the embodiment of we're females with the embodiment of masculine energy, because we've been
Mm.
programmed how to be little men. And that is why some coaches, some of you, this is not for everybody. What I'm about to say is not for everybody. Because some of you
Mhm.
get turned on by the coaches who wanted to say, I'm going to take you to 6 figures, learn how to hit 6 figures in 90 days.
In a way.
You
Uh-huh.
Right. Some of you are turned on because of whatever
Mhm.
their advertising is about what they have and what they've done. And I'm telling you, that's not the real deal for some, but even if it is, if it is just the external definition of the promissory note that you're looking for, what about the woman who is in the executive position, who has the things but does not have the inner significance? What about the woman who is pretending that she's happy because she has all of the outer things. And so, of course, what I'm going to be sharing with you is the feminine business model, the feminine business. And we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about expect from this series from all three of us, not in extremely great detail, but just an overview, because whereas Sabira had a breast cancer experience, which has layers and layers of, let me say this, more women are experiencing dis-ease in nurturing organs, and that's not an accident. And this has a relationship to our abundance, because many of us are in survival mode. We're taking care of, we're running ourselves, burning both ends of the candle, on top of toxic thoughts or traumas that are unhealed, all of this. And so when you find yourself in a pattern, it doesn't even matter whether the pattern is right or wrong or all of that stuff. It's whether you don't want to be in it. If that's not the desire that you have for your life, and you find yourself caught in a pattern over and over again, like, you're in a pair of pants. That's what the old people say down south Severe.
Say it again.
I just got a different pair of pants. Same man, different pair of pants.
Oh. I like that.
That's whatever we have on repeat, means we are in spiritual special ed. And so we're going to keep experiencing it until we get the lesson. And so you want to break through what it is that has broken you. You want to break through your barrier and through the wall first in consciousness. And if money is my own natural energy yield, let me give you another example that I offer to my clients. Many of you pray. You went to church on Sunday and you go to the altar, but you go to the altar and you beg. Now, prayer is, both of us are ministers. And so, but we don't pray like that. We prayed in the affirmative. You beg, that's lack consciousness. Even whatever your belief is about God, that's a lack consciousness, because you're saying I don't have it, rather that I am it. I am my own natural energy yield. And so because we have been programmed with an external relationship with everything, and so much is about performance, so much is about image, and it's not that. And Sabira and I were just talking this morning. We were saying just how, isn't it funny how when you shift and back up off of a thing, how some things start to happen? Because what happens is when you're doing your work, I wish I could find another word. I like to say contribution more. When you are making your contribution for what you came here for, what I learned on this journey to the entrepreneurs, the new ones or the ones who want to be an entrepreneur, is it is not, no one can give you the guarantee. I was a minister preaching about faith. I could outline the sermon, give you the three dots, I could wrap it up, I could about faith. But honey, let me tell you, when it's time for you to jump in the middle and have it turn out in your, that is the faith. It's experiential. It is not preached. It is not anything somebody can pray over you. You become the living prayer. And there are days when you do not know, you may not know how it's going to turn out. And you can either drive yourself crazy or surrender and know that it always does and it always will.
Wow. That was worth the price of admission. That was awesome. That was awesome. Wow. Well, whew.
Great segue to talk about
I
what we're
guess
going to
I
talk
want to.
about, huh?
Yeah. So you guys see, patterns is going to be during this four. This is going to be 4 weeks, folks. 4 weeks every Tuesday at lunchtime. We want you to come. We want you to, bring your lunch and take your phone. Go outside in nature. If you have somewhere around your office building or where you work where you can sit outside and put your earphones in and just join us for as much of your lunch break as is possible
Right.
on Tuesdays. We're going to be talking a lot about patterns, how to shift patterns. You said something real interesting, Latanya, and I know one of the things that I said was that I always had a side hustle, right? That woman that I was walking around like behaving with male energy,
Oh, yes.
hustling.
Oh, yes.
Hustling.
Yes.
You see, as Ian Levanzat used to always tell us, your speaking betrays you.
Yes, yes, go get my hustle on. Oh, I couldn't stand that when oh my God, but yes, continue.
Yeah. So I have been able to stop hustle. And the word that I use, Latanya, that I would love for us to explore during this quiz is avocation.
Oh, I love that. That just softened my feminine soul.
Mine too.
Oh, that's so
Right?
juicy. Oh my God.
Avocation.
Oh, yes. Oh, my avocation is a spiritual life coach. Oh, my avocation is a business consultant. Oh my God. Oh, don't you just feel it? See, oh, yes.
I do.
Okay.
It's just bouncing off of it. And see, an avocation is funny because when I looked up that word, the first thing it talks about is it has a connotation of it's your calling, something you love to do. They can in the dictionary it's under a hobby. But if it's your calling and something that you love to do, something you're passionate about, why not be able to generate an income that supports your life by doing what you are naturally designed to do? And we are going to show you some practical tools that will support you in doing that. So you do not want to miss any shows. I'm going to speak specifically about kind of the things that I'm going to be going over. I look at a creative business model again because that's what I had to do. I was always like, where can I find tools that are cost efficient, cost effective, and have an easy to learn, learning curve that is not really long or not really steep or deep. And so I have, because that's what I opened myself up to, that is what came to me. So I'm going to share some practical tools with you along those lines. Principles such as yourself a step first, pay yourself first in real money. We've got to break away from cash.
That's
We
right.
need it to circulate, to buy, milk and eggs and that. However, Latanya, you spoke of generational wealth. You spoke of legacy. Legacy is not built on this. This is sand. We're going to actually show you a practical way to begin to pay yourself first in real money. Okay? Not only is it practical, but it's affordable. Eliminate non-serving debt. If this is all you have to circulate, it's just going to debt is going to continue to mount. So you want to do things. Listen, with today's technology, it is absolutely unnecessary for any homeowner to have a home mortgage for any longer than 8 to 10 years. There is technology that is affordable and easy to use that will pay off your mortgage in anywhere from 8 to 10 years at the maximum. Okay? I'm telling, what we're bringing you guys is life altering. If you could have your mortgage paid off and all you were worried about then was paying your real estate taxes and had a roof over your head, these are practical things I had to think about. I was thinking, you know, my home went into foreclosure every year that I was in the breast cancer treatment process, knee deep. And it came to me, I've got to figure out a way that I shouldn't have to worry about a roof over my head, food in my mouth. Basic stuff, y'all. Basic stuff. We're going to show you that. Creating an income based on your avocation. Okay? That's what I'm going to be speaking to you about. Creating an income based on what you love, what you're passionate about. And then creating a living that is rooted in the soil of, on the foundation of, the vision of your natural energy yield. So that's what you can expect to hear from me over these next 4 weeks. And I'll pass it to LaTonya. She will share about her business model and what she's going to be sharing with us over the next 4 weeks as well. I don't know if you guys can hear LaTonya. Looks like LaTonya is frozen on here. Okay. Well, in the meantime, I want LaTonya to really speak to what she's bringing to the table. What I can tell you, though, just briefly, is she's a dynamic coach in the feminine business model, where you will use your vision to pull you forward. Again, all of your natural, innate, the things you love. You there, LaTonya? Oh, looks like she came off the air. She'll probably join us back in a moment. So in the meantime, I'll just keep sharing with you what LaTonya is going to be talking to us about: the feminine business model, being pregnant with possibility, and taking that possibility and creating a life that is aligned with the truth of who you are, is what LaTonya is excellent at. And so much more than that. I know that I'm doing absolutely no justice to her business model, but you guys are going to love it. And then we have Coach Sandra Mizell Chaney, who will be coming on next week, and definitely going to give her a lot of room on the platform to speak to us next week about living from the inside out, right? It is one thing to get these tools and be able to create something, you know, to tap into your divine feminine, to your feminine energy, and use that to create the life and the business that you want. But a major component, one of the foundational pieces that you need to have in place before you even step out doing one thing toward a business, is you need to go inside. You need to work from the inside out. And one of the things that Coach Sandra always says is that it's an inside job. It's an inside job. So we're going to take you, you know, as LaTonya said, on that deep dive on the inside, and support you in building yourself up. First of all, getting very clear about what your vision is, what you came to the planet to do, who you came to the planet to serve. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, being of service. Who you came here to serve and to help them move further along on their journey, down their path. And then get clear about what your message is. And put all of those in the tools of the strategies and the tools that we were talking about. LaTonya, I think you're back. Yes.
I'm back.
Excellent, excellent. So I want you to speak to your, you know, what our listeners, our viewers can expect to hear from you over the next 4 weeks?
Okay, I'm so excited to come back. Get back, be surrendered about it out. So what you can expect from me in the feminine business model. Some of us are already in business, or we have something that we're doing on the side and it's burning us out, or it doesn't feel good. And I want to really present a way for it to feel good. I want to also lead you to the road of quantum, some quantum success and manifestation that doesn't have to be hard. And so I'll be covering a few things like from resistance to readiness next week. Shifting out of the mindset of I don't want anybody to know my business, or I don't want anyone all up in my business, and how that also is an energy that blocks your money. And it blocks your purpose as well. It blocks your authenticity. So that's for those, whether you you don't know what to do, you're looking for it. I like to be able to touch on that for some of us. And then we also want you to know why your money story matters in the grand scheme of things. Why it's not just about the doing. I like to think of oh gosh, I just lost his exact name in the Bible, but I'll come back to it. But many of us are really in a place of really suffering with performance anxiety. We keep on we keep on looking at what we're doing, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about some ways that you can be. And cooperation versus competition. Sometimes if you see someone else that is having success, sacred success or traditional success or corporate success or whatever type of success, the spirit of comparison and competition can rob you of your courage to be vulnerable, to say that you're scared, that there's not enough for you. And then hopefully we'll be able to end with how you can enroll in your vision. How enrolling in your vision is the most powerful tool and technique that you can use in every area of your life. Because when you're clear on your vision pulls you forward. And sometimes it pushes you. My vision pushed me. And so it wasn't, and again, it wasn't when America was having all of the layoffs and job loss, we created that because there were millions of people all over the country who were dissatisfied. And many of those people were forced to go into second careers and do what they really wanted to do anyway. They became entrepreneurs out of not having the distraction there. And so some of you are listening now. I'm talking to some of you who did that. You got laid off. You needed to feed your family. Your why was big. And so you started to do something else. And also I want, hopefully in between all of that, we can also look at an unlimited way of being. I hope that the gift that we can explore together, that you can use right away, is passive income. And the things that we have set up together, Sabira, Sandra, and I, is for our tribes to invest now in themselves and start building some passive income streams, or you can build some active ones. It's your choice, but it's time to start building.
Very good. And an excellent place to stop. I did look out and see there was no questions at this point.
No questions.
There's no questions at this point. But, I know that the questions will be coming. I know that, and again, I want to thank the viewers that were on with us today. This is our launch, and we've got much, much more in store for you moving forward. So come on out. bring your lunch, and let's keep talking. I want to make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch with all three of your money charmers.
Yay!
Okay, so you can always go to our link that we have there, 22s.com/Sabira/money charmer, or you can find me on Sacred Warrior Yoga on Facebook, as well as Sabira Follow Me on Facebook. That's my personal page, or my business page, which is Sacred Warrior Yoga. So those are the three ways that you can be in touch. If you want to know about next week's broadcast, please visit, whether it's Latanya /money charmer, it'll be Sandra /money charmer, or Sabira /money charmer. So however you found out about this, just return to that link, and it will make sure that you know about this and any other event we may have in the future.
And you can come to Rebirth by Latanya Taylor for my Facebook page, Rebirth by Latanya Taylor, or if you would like a consultation or any type of questions you have around creating your vision, elevating your vision, you can go to my website, rebirthinternational.net. And you can, if you go to rebirthinternational.net, you can find me anywhere on Facebook or on Twitter, which is RevCoach CEO. And of course, right here at the link, as Sabira just said, hopefully we've made it easy for you to get to us.
Sandra, you can find her on Facebook as well. And she's under Sandra Chaney. And so you can find her on Facebook there. She will be on next week, and I'm excited for her to share her story and her journey as well, and all that she's going to be bringing over these 4 weeks. So again, we are honored that you came. If you're here watching the rebroadcast, we thank you for taking the time to do that as well, and look forward to a great summer with your money charmers, Latanya Taylor, Sandra Chaney, and myself, Sabira, and we will see you next Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.
All right.